Hi, this is Joel Benson with the Idaho Farm Bureau here visiting with President Brian Searle, President of the Idaho Farm Bureau. President Searle, could you tell us a little bit about the conversations that's happening with the Farm Bureau and national decision makers?
Well, thank you, Joel. We appreciate that. You know, we're in very difficult and challenging times, and from the very beginning, Farm Bureau has been very engaged with several conference calls. Today, we had the opportunity as American Farm Bureau presidents and some of the staff from around the nation to have USDA's Deputy Director from USDA, Stephen Sinsky, and he addressed us on some things. We've had calls. Tomorrow we'll have a conference call with Secretary Perdue, again listening to the needs and the challenges, and then talking how they're implementing and acting on those.
What has been your impression on how these national leaders have listened to the different state farm bureaus and their concerns?
Very impressed. They have reached out and listened. We all know that government moves slower than probably what we do in business. And each time Secretary Perdue has been asked the question, how fast or how quick can you get some aid and support? His answer has always been, we want to be as fast as business, and that's our goal, and that's what we're striving for. So they've reacted, they've been involved, and they've listened to every sector, not just agriculture, but these calls also have retailers on the phone, the trucking industry, and all the rest.
Great. What are some of the different feedback and feelings you're getting from the Idaho farmers and ranchers at this time?
You know, the unknown is so hard, so difficult. This is not something we can put our finger on. So we're nervous for the future. How long is this going to last? How quick will it start back up? What's going to happen to that milk in the tank or that calf that's being born today? Where's the prices? Can I sustain that? Am I going to have guest workers here? So there's been a lot of effort go in and to help get guest workers here, to be here to accomplish that. There's work going forward, helping growers to realize that maybe the key right now is to pull back a little bit on some plantings. Look at crops. We get a lot better return on fewer crops with a higher price than investing and spending our whole year in producing a crop and then selling it way below production costs. So they're concerned. They're looking for, you know, some hope and confidence they go forward. And so we work to assure them that every level is involved in discussing.
On the phone call today with the USDA, the Deputy Secretary talked a little bit about distribution, payments, and flexibility of nutrition programs. Can you touch a little bit on each one of those?
So being able to get payments out, we know that there's programs that are out there. There's difficulties with them. We've never faced this so quickly of what's there, but they're addressing every avenue of it. They're appreciative of feedback in order to bring some help back. If we've got too much milk, what are some avenues and ways that producers can continue to produce milk, but do it in a way that they can stay profitable in what they are after and what they're doing. So I think that's key on the distribution of funds and helping sustain some of the growers that's there.
Do you feel that gave you a sense of amounts of requests, financial requests that have come in from the national commodity groups? How many of those requests will be fulfilled, or whether there'll be sufficient funds for those requests, or whether or not there'll have to be some decision making?
So obviously USDA has been bombarded by the beef industry, the milk producers, and on through with requests to help them to sustain them. And the answer today was we received many more requests than what we have funds allocated to fulfill. And so that's what they're working through trying to decide what's the greatest needs and where can we get the most for the dollars of support that will go out, and work to support every industry is another challenge that's there. Whether you're a hog producer, a potato producer, or beef, it doesn't matter. So they're looking at that avenue and areas.
Right now we have a lot of farmers and ranchers know that their food or their commodities go either onto the food service side or the retail side. What are some of the challenges that are happening with the dynamics between a food service distribution and a retail distribution?
I think that who would ever thought that we would have shut the nation and the world down? And so there's packaging challenges. There's areas where we were sending food and distributing it to that completely shut their doors. And that stopped any demand for any of those products. And so they've worked on that. There's things on some labeling and different things that USDA has been very aggressive in trying to open up those doors, so that while we're all encouraged to keep our social distancing and stay at home, we still have to eat. And so how can we eat, and how can we get that food to those areas that are there? And that's the encouragement I think we need to look at, is we need to continue to support agriculture, but the industry has made that known, and it has been responded to in a lot of areas, as well as the retail side. They had some strict requirements in different areas that they could only get products from certain areas, and they've been able to bring a lot of those down. We're still not there. We obviously know this is a very difficult situation, but we're working, many are working every day to bring that. We're dumping milk at times in different parts of this nation, and yet there's still restrictions in certain areas and stores that there's not, you can only buy 1 gallon of milk as you come in, or it may even be empty. And so that is what is being aggressively worked on, so that we can continue to get food to individuals.
Well, we appreciate visiting with you today, President Searle. Are there any final comments that you'd like to make?
Well, just a word of hope. I'm a producer myself. I grow potatoes and grain and hay, and it can be difficult and challenging, but we've been through difficult times. All of us have. We need to continue to stay focused, look at areas, reach across the fence to our neighbors, talk to them, think of ideas, and as we get those, we can collaborate together and come with areas and ways. We have to be engaged. We can't just sit back in our chair and wait for the government to send us a check in the mail every day. We've got to do what we do best in agriculture, and that is be aggressive, be great thinkers, and then implement those ideas and things into action, whether we have to reduce some plantings or whatever we need to do. We need to be involved in that. And as we do that, we will return and have great successes, but we'll have to do it together as we go forward.